Welcome back, Elongation Nation, to the Elongated Cast, the one and only 5-star Elongated Man podcast. It's me, your first host, Will, and today I'm joined by.
Hi, I'm your second host, Jack. Welcome to another episode of this storied podcast.
Yep, the greatest one in history.
Yeah, so you may be... Will, do you want to explain what we're doing here? Because...
No. I think
Do
that
you
would
want
make
me
it less
to, or-
funny.
I feel like it warrants an explanation, because otherwise people are just going to wonder, like, who asked for somehow a worse version of Schway Schwarbage? Because that's not something that people...
First of all, I I think you meant better, because we're talking about the elongated man.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so we're talking about the elongated man. Our good friend Quentin was unable to record, which is just part of the many scheduling nightmares that we are constantly having trying to make this. So
on top of the fact that this episode is already late when we're recording it, but let's not worry about that.
So Will and I have taken a little detour.
Mm-hmm.
Or should I say a long detour?
Hey! So, in one of our recent episodes, we read an issue of Detective Comics 330, and at the end of that issue, after the Batman story, there was an Elongated Man story, which we did not read.
I read and there's no we here. I read it. We did not talk about
it. Okay. I did not read it. But we will be we have now, and we will be discussing it today.
Yeah.
We are reading The Elongated Man, Desert Double Cross.
And that is from Detective Comics issue 330, for those of you who are wondering.
Jack, you may be wondering, who is the Elongated Man?
Well, not really, no, but
okay, but for the sake of something I'm about to say.
Yeah, who the heck?
Ralph Dibny is the Elongated Man, a keen sleuth and member of the Justice League, who has the ability to stretch his body through the consumption of gin gold.
I've what's Jingold?
Yeah, cool. He's a detective.
No, what is Jingold?
Jingold. It's like a potion.
Okay.
All these old superheroes got their powers by drinking potions.
This was not touched on.
Yeah, we didn't read his origin issue. It is a soft drink that helps you be more flexible, but I think he just drank a lot of it. I don't remember.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, our story opens with Ralph Dibny and his wife Sue Dibny. First married, like first superhero marriage in comics. They're great, and their car has broken down as they're driving through the Mojave Desert.
Yeah. And luckily, though, for them, next to the one house, the one house.
Yeah, the one house. The Elongated Man, Ralph. He's like, well, okay, I'll just go up and ask for their help if I can use their phone. And he opens the door, and the lady in there goes, "Oh, it's my cousin," and then immediately kisses him.
On the lips.
Yeah, just weird way to greet your cousin.
Yeah, not how I've ever, not how I've ever seen cousins interact. Even as a someone who's lived my whole life in the American South, I've never seen that interaction take place.
Yep. Yeah. And then she sees Ralph's wife Sue, and it's just like, I recognize you anywhere from your wedding pictures. Come on, my cousin. And then Ralph's nose starts to wiggle, which what happens when he detects a mystery. He's sniffing out a mystery. He's a detective. He's a detective. You wouldn't really know it by reading this issue. Doesn't really solve a mystery.
This is more of just a fighting. Like he just fights
Yeah,
crime.
this is yeah.
No,
This is this
because
is
the
just a
very
fight
next
story.
scene is the criminals coming out and being like, "Ha ha ha, we got you."
Yeah, so there's this one like mobster who's wearing a hilarious hat and sunglasses combination, and basically after he gets invited in, like 2 panels after he walks in, these guys walk in like, "Hey, I'm here to do the crime." Ha! Come on, Ralph Dibny, I know you're the
What's
elongated
that
man.
gangster's
Ha!
name? Yeah, everyone just recognizes the even like
Yeah,
the citizens, the gangsters, all.
he doesn't have a secret
Yeah,
identity.
and so the reason that the citizens were that these people were trying to
the,
the citizens. I don't know
the citizens.
why these citizens were attempting to um, trick the criminals by saying that Elongated Man was their cousin is just like because they recognized him and they needed help because they had already been assaulted
Taken
by
hostage by these
taken. Yeah.
criminals.
And what's this guy's name? It's Bill something, I'm pretty sure. Bill
Yeah, Bill.
Bill Hastings. Bill Hastings.
There we go. That's it. I didn't write it down, and I was like, "Oh God, it is Bill something."
One of the most
Yeah.
famous criminals in Elongated Man lore.
Mm-hmm. He's the only elongated villain I can name. Also, like, Ralph Dibny gets a gun pulled on him, and then just next panel, he's just like getting into the car with the criminal because he's just like, "Yeah, I can't do anything about this."
So the criminals want to steal some jewels from a local
Yep.
mansion, and with fortunately for them, Elongated Man just showed up, and he's like
Yeah.
he's really good, like so he could steal.
He's really good at being long.
So they're gonna hold these people hostage, including his wife and these people he just met, and force him to steal the jewels.
Yeah. And I do think it is hilarious that like this issue, like the teaser page, like the cover page is like Elongated Man has been stuck in like he's been like stuck in like this perfect trap, like he's like stuck between a rock and a hard place and he doesn't know what to do. Then you get to the story and it's just a man pulled a gun on him and that's
Yeah.
about the whole thing. Which is fair, like I'd be stuck in that instance too, but it feels kind of lame for a superhero to get stumped by a man with a gun.
Yeah, I think a common theme in this issue is that Elongated Man is able to solve every problem he is confronted with very easily thanks to his Elongated Man powers. Like he can just punch he can just punch his way through his problems.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, then he like I really love all of the panels of him stretching because they all put him in hilarious positions.
I think that is like the main appeal of the Elongated Man. Like
the art is really good. Like compared to the Batman story that's also
in the same
this,
issue,
like,
it is
better.
actually way better. Yeah, I noticed that too.
They really busted out their A game for Ralph Dibny.
If you're a real head, like you're a true fan, and you remember this was the Batman story where everyone this is where everyone hated Batman because he drank a coffee.
An evil coffee.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that, go listen to it. That's one of our better episodes. Anyway, he does like a cool like maneuver around a tree. Then he like wraps his legs around a chimney and slingshots over.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to him coming back with the jewels. They didn't bother showing us how he got them.
But in a shocking twist,
Oh yeah, who could have seen this coming?
he did not actually have the jewels, but rather a bunch of rocks. Just like he just filled his handkerchief with rocks. And
in order to avoid suspicion of trying to take this guy out, he stretched his leg around the corner behind a tree so he could kick him from an angle.
yeah, Mr. Bill Hastings is pretty upset about the whole rocks.
Yeah.
So Elongated Man just kicks him from around a tree.
Then we get my 3 favorite Elongated Man stretching forms while he's getting shot at. Like, he does like a fun little loop-de-loop, and then like a weird angular kick, and then he just lifts him up by the scruff of his neck and socks him in the nose.
Yeah, he really like it. He is so good in this page that it makes me wonder why he even went through the trouble of like doing the whole rocks bit. Like he could have just beat this guy up like at any point because they were just in a car, just the two of them, no goons, no nobody.
I think you nailed it on the head. It was for the bit. He was like, it'll be funny if I give him rocks. Anyway, thankfully, he and the criminal look kind of similar. So he, like steals his clothes and goes back to the goon base, and he's like...
The goon base, that's just those people's house.
It's a goon base now. And then, like as they see him walking up, one of them is like, is that you, Bill? And he's like, who you expect? Look, I got the loot. And then they're like, give us the signal. And he's like, okay. And then he just punches him from really far away.
Yeah, he elongates. Yeah. So
then he goes.
He proceeds to.
You talk about it.
I'll just cover the next guy. He gets that guy, and then he just walks into the room all swagged out, like he's in an S formation, like he is all stretched out, and this guy holding a gun is just unable to shoot him because he's so elongated, he's so stretched, and
he is.
Let's see, is this the same guy? Yeah. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So that guy then uses the hostages like as a hostage to say, hey, don't come in here. I'm gonna get these hostages. And
Jack, you truly are a wordsmith.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's. I'm sorry for not bringing my A game. I need to step it up for the Elongated Cast. Do you want to cover this guy, or do you want to give me one more shot?
You can keep going. You're killing it.
One more shot on this guy. Okay, this guy, he's smart. He's smarter than the average goon. He says, "Show your hands and feet, so I can see them." So I can't. He's defeated Elongated Man, right? Because Elongated Man stretches his hands and feet out in order to attack. So Elongated Man is like behind this board, and he's got his hands on top and his feet on bottom. But what the guy doesn't know is that Elongated Man has stretched his elbow around the building through a window, and then he hits that guy, cleverly defeating his hands and feet strategy. Was that a sufficient explanation?
That was phenomenal.
Okay.
Should I talk about the next guy? Because this is my favorite.
Please don't let me fumble around anymore.
So Elongated Man has been surrounded by one guy with a gun and another guy with an awesome haircut jumping down the stairs at him. So naturally, Elongated Man stretches his legs out so the guy jumping at him goes in between his legs, falls on the ground. Then he stretches over and grabs the guy with the gun. And, like, you know those, like, perpetual motion machines where you have, like, the beads that hit each other?
What, a Newton's cradle?
Yeah, Newton's cradle. He, like, picks up one of them and, like, swings him down and hits the other guy in the head. That's what it reminds me of.
Smashes their heads together.
There's some fun sound effects like oof and un.
And yeah, there's really no need to say there's some fun sound effects like oof and un. Those are the two sound effects that are present in this page.
I mean, there's some pows.
Are there? I don't see
pows. I mean, earlier there were some pows. Okay. Not right now.
Okay. But yeah, oof and un.
Then the day is saved. His wife's like, that was awesome, honey. Great job. And he's like, thanks. And then the girl who kissed him was like, I'm glad you helped me. By the way, I pretended you were my cousin because I recognized you as the Elongated Man. And her dad, who has been here the whole time, but I don't think he ever says anything, just stands there.
They couldn't get a voice actor.
Yeah, really sad.
Yeah, and then the Elongated Man says, okay, I'm gonna get the police, and then I'm gonna get a mechanic for our car. So, bye.
It's me, the Elongated Man.
And that's it.
That's it.
This story is 10 pages. I counted how many pages. This story is 10 pages. I honestly will. We've had so many extremely long episodes of Schway Schwarbage where we talked about like 30 pages of comic and then like a episode of some animated series. We just talked about 10 pages. It's been like 15 minutes. Do you have any thoughts to bring us?
Do we want to do a elongated panel? Which panel got got
Yes,
you
I
feeling
would
the
love
most
to. I
elongated?
would love to.
For me, it's definitely the one of of the reveal of his elbow trick where he's standing behind a small door with his hands and feet exposed, and you just see his huge elbow just whipping around the corner.
It's a good panel.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah. It really demonstrates the full.
Potential of the elongated man.
Yeah,
No one is safe.
the foolish criminal fell into the classic hands and feet trap, where fools that don't understand elongated man think he can only stretch his arms and
His head.
feet in like a single dimension.
In like a straight
Yeah.
line. Okay, which of these fun panels got you feeling the most? I don't know, elongated.
My favorite, my most elongated panel is the one where he's fighting the original Bill Hastings gangster,
hmm
and he does the loop. I think we talked about the loop de loop.
Yeah.
And Phil just says, "Hold still, you animated corkscrew." And
I love his face here.
yeah, very low on details on his face. Just it's a little uncanny for sure. And there's two loops. He doesn't just like do one loop in his body. He doubles it up.
He goes crazy. Jack, are we finished talking about the comic?
Man, well, I don't know how much there is to discuss. To be honest.
Well, I can round us out with reading off some trivia.
Okay, please give me the trivia.
The elongated man has a penchant for sniffing out a good mystery. Whenever he becomes excited with the promise of some detective work, his nose begins wiggling. This was first mentioned / shown in Detective Comics number 329, the issue before this
Directly
one.
before this. Wow.
After his death and before the events of Blackest
His
Night,
death?
spoilers, sorry,
How?
Ralph and Sue were seen as ghosts on a number of occasions.
Wow. How did he die?
I don't remember. Elongated Man was France's favorite American superhero, probably thanks to his membership in Justice League Europe. In France, he was known as Le Homme Étendu. Probably mispronounced that. I'm very sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's a French icon.
hmm
How did I don't understand how Elongated Man could die. In this comic, he seems genuinely unbeatable.
Someone hit him with the "Show me your hands and feet" and also elbows, and then he was like, "Oh no!"
Knees, though. Knees. There's infinite potential. I feel like he could even stomach. Like, he could... I feel like that's not out of the question for him. Like, he sends his torso around the building to like, hip check.
Oh, someone said, "Stand so I can see your whole body." Okay, Jack, you wanna give us an outro for this little episode?
Well, I do have one more thing though. Well, I do have one more thing. So, you know, if you're not for some reason just listening to the Elongated Cast without knowing who we are previously, then all power to you. That sounds kind of awesome, actually. But
yeah, you're living your best life.
We do have in our Batman shows, we do have a rating at the end where we ask whether it's Schway or Schwarbage. And I wanted to ask you, I looked up antonyms of elongated, and I want to ask you which of them you would want as our negative rating, and then I want you to rate this story.
Okay.
So the ones I have are abbreviated, abridged, curtailed, diminished, and shortened. Which is your favorite?
I like is it elongated or is it abridged?
Is it abridged? Alright. So, is this story elongated or is this abridged, Will?
I'm gonna say it's elongated. Maybe it's because I've been absorbing so much Batman media, but I just had a blast reading this. There's some weird stuff like how they actually skipped him finding the rocks. The double cross like wasn't much of a double cross. Like, did any of us believe Ralph Dibny was just gonna just join these criminals?
Yeah, it was more like a single cross. Like he just
Yeah.
stuck with the side of justice, which he was already on.
Yeah. The art is really good though, and there's some fun action. Just a fun time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna concur with you, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly a groundbreaking story, and honestly, not one I would say you have to go seek out and read yourself.
Well, those are both debatable, but okay.
It's a fun little. It's literally 10 pages long. It's a very brief, very simple, little adventure with some comedy, with some just a fun little. It's a fun little jaunt. I would describe it as, and I think that's elongated. And ironically, it's not long. It's not actually long. It's very short, as I said. But you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. One more thing. One final thing. This is completely unrelated, but I think it's funny. In the Flash, live action TV show, the CW Flash.
Oh no.
The Elongated Man does appear, but I'm gonna talk more about his actor Hartley Sawyer. Because he got fired because of some pretty awful tweets.
Oh.
I'm just gonna read one of them off. Jingle bells, Batman swells, women shouldn't vote.
Oh my.
So, yeah. That's all I wanted to say. I remembered that mid-recording, like, wait, wasn't that guy crazy? And I just looked it up.
So those are not the views of the Elongated Man character, though, right?
I hope not.
I do too, because
Mhm.
I really do see the I mean, in this comic, he's just a paragon. He's a true
He did nothing wrong in this story.
He doesn't even think about complying with the villain's demands, and he saves everyone.
Yeah.
He's a hero.
He's a true hero. Jack, you want to give us an outro?
Yeah. Thanks for stretching your ears out and listening, everyone. Tune in next time for hopefully not some more Elongated Man stuff, because this is just a complete random whim we've had to do this because our friend Quinn isn't here. So hopefully tune in next time for some actual content for Schwarbage.
I think this was the greatest podcast or piece of art I've ever made.